it, to be fair. Like, I'm in work tomorrow, I've just finished night, so
Yeah, that's
like,
fine. That's fine, mate.
and I wanted to get it in before Glenn does his talk with you tomorrow, because like
Yeah.
Glenn said he wants to come on here afterwards, and I thought we could do like a precursor to this. Like he was talking about Carabiner for beginners, and I was thinking we could do a chat where like, well, what happens if you've never been in a hobby and you or something, like bob a
Yeah.
few questions. Like,
Yeah.
so I've written some questions down for you, Rob. Like discussion topics we could go through and discuss, and
Yeah.
I thought it'd be interesting. Who's the big fish lad? We're allowed to call him
Hello,
Big Fish
Paul.
Lad again. Rob. He changed his name, but he's changed it back to Big Fish Lad now. So
Yeah, I noticed that.
the whole internet, the whole
Well,
fish
everybody
keeping
knows you
internet,
as Paul.
because everyone like when they're talking about Paul goes, the Big Fish Lad. But we're not allowed to call him Big Fish Lad because it's fishing over it.
Yeah, more people use Big Fish Lad. It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Cycling Sean, hi mate. This is, Rob, don't you? Cycling Sean. Don't know what you know, Rob.
Not familiar, but hello.
No, right. So what we'll do is I'll hit you with like a question, Rob, so we can have like a discussion over it.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about is because like I've been banging to your Lake Tanganyika cichlids, haven't I? And I used to
Yeah.
keep them myself, and I've just got my tank back that I used to keep them in, and it's all coming together at once, and I'm starting to get the itch. You know what I mean? When you
Yeah.
get the fish itch, and not ick.
Yeah.
So, what do you find fascinating about Lake Tanganyika cichlids? What is it about Lake Tanganyika that fascinates you?
When I first saw Lake Tanganyika cichlids in Wharf Aquatics, they had so many. It was the behaviour, the way they sit on the bottom, the way they
Oh,
can perch up against a rock. Very unfishy like, very, very unfishy like. Almost like a little puppy dog.
yeah,
And that character just I absorbed it instantly, and I was like, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
I done that with like I've always seen African cichlids being promoted and stuff, and my shop just had loads of like Malawis, and they never caught my attention. Now I had like ponds and tanks full of goldfish at
Yeah.
the time, so I was like, so what are these like? And the guy just went to just like goldfish, except with a heater, and I was like, oh right. But then one day, I was finishing up reef keeping, and Practical Fish Keeping magazine released an article called the Freshwater Reefs of Lake Tanganyika.
Yeah, I
And I was like,
remember that. I've got the
and I
magazine.
was
I've got the
reading, I was like,
magazine.
wow, that was amazing. I was like, and then obviously Malawi's all about the color, isn't it? And like that's
Yeah.
the way I like to
Yeah.
think of
It's
it.
the next
It's all about the color.
Malawi's was the next best thing to having salt water for the
Yeah,
colours.
definitely. Yeah, I can't argue with that. It's like, but then like so like for the newer fish keepers, it's like wow, I can have all these colors in a tank. But for the more experienced, like we're more into behaviors and stuff like that, aren't we? We've seen all the colors and stuff, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's like wow, like. And I just remember watching a video after reading that and seeing this shell dweller, and it like swam over to the next load of shells, picked a load of females up in shells, and started bringing them back
yeah,
while the other ones,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I was like, what's going on here? So
yeah.
like the behaviour fascinated me. That's what
They're
dragged me
very
into
rich.
it. Like
They're very regimental. Very. I've seen the gold ocellatus, literally a little female. Bear in mind, she's not even an inch in size. She picked a full shell up and moved it.
wow, like the stuff that they get up to is amazing. So tell me more about the three distinct biotopes in Lake Tanganyika. The you know which you mean, don't you?
Well, there's various biotopes of what I've seen. They have areas with tons of rock, no shells at all. Yet there's shell
Yeah,
dwellers between the rocks. Then you get open spaces with a lot of old shells. They like to mound the shells up. I love the way they compact them all together, bury most of them around for future. The reason they bury them is so they can preserve them for the next generation. Because what they do, they swap shells. So the legs in that shell, raise them, let the fish go. Then they'll go to the next shell because it's already been set and cleaned and put underground, so it's not been touched.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
You learn something new every day.
it's amazing to see and watch.
Yeah, I find it fascinating, like the fact that you got like I said to you, my overflow on my tank, I had a Bishardi, and they must have got in there as fry, and he spent the whole life vertical in
So
this.
vertical, yeah, yeah.
That must be a behaviour that they elicit in Lake
It is.
Tanganyika on the cliff
It's. I
faces.
think the cliff faces, the rock edges, and things like that. Julie the chromas tend to do the swim more that way than they do that way.
Yeah, dude, yeah, that's fascinating. Fascinating to see like the stuff that they like. I read that Frontosa will sit in the depths, you know, during the day, like the deeper parts of the day, and then at dusk and dawn, knowing like the lights over like above
Yeah,
them, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like they call them
Straight.
raptorial predators, don't they? Because they come straight
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
nail them. Well, like I find that fascinating because like I've had them in a tank and they don't move. Like they just sit there.
Then I mean, most Tanganyikans are not just fish; they're more like a puppy dog.
Yeah,
Fish
like
farms in the house.
the fish farms here. They're like I find it fascinating. The smaller they are, the more aggressive they seem to be.
100%. The smaller they are. I mean, my gold ocellatus are by far the smallest, and they've latched onto me 3 times now, and it hurts. And it's a little fish like that, and it hurts. You
Wow,
feel it?
that's insane. So I remember mine. Like I'd Rob's off. Right,
I mean,
Telmatochromis, temporalis gel, and they used to have me frontosa pinned against the glass sometimes, and they're that big. And
yeah,
I'm like frontosa are like you're about 6 inches at the time, and I'm like,
yeah.
what? How can that's your dinner? You should be eating that, not be scared of it.
But regarding biotopes, a lot of Lake Tanganyika is open waters with very few
Yeah,
rocks. The occasional plants. I do believe some Vallisneria species actually grows in Lake Tanganyika.
I've heard that. Yeah. So
I have seen it on a thingy, but regarding biotopes, it's just open rocky masses here and there.
yeah, I read that the geography of the place is it used to be part of it. I think it was the Med or
It
one of the
was, yeah,
seas,
yeah, it used to be
and it
connected.
crossed over. So
Yeah,
there's like
sure. As
loads of
as the
minerals
continent
something.
shifted, that kind of like ended up like that.
But it's the Great Rift Lakes, isn't it? I always think of them as Malawi's the colourful one, Tanganyika is the behaviours, and
Yeah,
then
you've got Lake
Victoria's
Victoria.
the
Yeah,
oddballs, isn't it? Kind of thing. So
yeah, yeah. It's some of the juicy fish, but big attitude.
yeah, I was told that the Frontosa are the biggest fish in Lake Tanganyika, but they're not, are they?
No, 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 no. And there's probably more still to be discovered.
I've
Very
seen
little is
giants.
known still.
Yeah. Well, apparently the silt at the bottom's like a mile deep at Lake Tanganyika. So
It can be up to. It can be up to, and it's all the silt from the previous ocean. All the old ocean rock, what actually makes the water pH go very high.
makes sense. So it's basically live rock, marine live
Yeah,
rock, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. There
Like
will be
pretty
all
same stuff.
underneath it. Yeah.
So do you think that takes me on to the next question? So the water chemistry we were about to talk about anyway. So it's really hard. It's all
I keep my tanks. I keep my tanks at this. I keep a GH of 12, a
yeah,
KH of 8,
of course.
and TDS is 450. pH I achieve via using crushed coral and Texas Solar Rock. I achieve around about pH 8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's with what I'm doing at the moment. That's like proper high, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, like I used to do that with my tanks, and now like trying to like get my head around sort of KH and pH that high. It's just
Ever since I didn't have crushed coral from the beginning, and then after about 3 months, when I added the crushed coral, things changed. Things started breeding. Put that down to I don't know what, but I think it's made it pushed the pH up a little bit, and that pH push has actually triggered the fish to be more comfortable,
yeah.
hence
I
the breeding.
I've wondered about that myself because I had crushed coral and stuff in my old tank, and I took it out while I was doing it. I was doing like a rescape, and the front user seemed to respond to it straight away. They just
Yeah,
sat on the bottom and he started trying to flash on the tank and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But the water chemistry's gone and it's upset them. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I use straight from the tap, but the only difference is the water butt what I use, I have 2 bags, media bags full of crushed coral in it. So when the tap water goes in, I leave it for about 24 hours, and then the pH from the tap's about 7.2, and then by the time 24 hours is up, it goes up to 8.
That's where mine's at from the top, 7.2.
7.2, yeah, that's what mine is.
I don't think, I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know whether there's like hardly any KH but quite a bit of GH or the other way around. I think the KH is low.
KH, yeah, your KH in your area is actually quite low.
Good evening. It's
Evening, guys.
Aquatic. Hello, mate. The big guy in the house. Have you seen his, what do you call it? Seen his Oscar tank at the moment?
I haven't checked. There's so much I still need to check out. I've just not had the time of day.
Patty's my team. He's a data tank guy, so
Yeah. Hi, Patty.
he's just set up one with, it's planted with, what do we call it in? Oscar. An Oscar called, everyone goes to call it Sparkles, which I think's a proper cool name.
It's different.
It is, isn't it? But I like stuff like that. I like difference, do you know what I mean? Like, I like changing things up and stuff. So, what do you feed?
Mainly, their main diet consists of big Tibetan red baby brown shrimp.
Yeah.
And these 2 products. We always get the Tetra mini flake in the morning.
Yeah.
And then either afternoon or evening, they'll either get one put in whole, or I'll go like that and turn it to a dust.
Hi, Gord. It's Gord again.
But yeah, these are my two main foods that they get fed on. Maybe 2 weeks out of a month, they will get Cali blackworm as well.
Get spoiled, yeah.
Yeah. But I tend to rotate. Sometimes I might feed this in the morning, or I might feed this in the morning. I don't have no set feeding, but I also feed they like this. It's more for your little nano fish, but it's a soft pellet. But they absolutely love it.
I used to feed mine the stuff, big Fishpert. I'm allowed to say it again. I feed still pause now. I'm allowed to say that. I feed mine the same stuff Paul feeds his cichlids, the party.
Ikari, yeah.
Well, I used to find, like, I had mine in, like, my tank in it, like, a back room, like, dining room type room. And when you go in there after you fed them, like, you could smell the food in the air.
Yeah, definitely. Very strong scented.
And a lot of people say not to feed bloodworm, don't they, to Lake Tanganyika?
I've never fed mine bloodworm. I'm not a big fan of bloodworm for the simple fact it consists of nothing really. It brings nothing to a fish. It's just to fill the stomach up, which is fair enough. It can get finicky feeders feeding well, but I tend not to use bloodworm. I also use frozen daphnia and occasional tuberfix, but the tuberfix frozen's not very good. It comes out in mush, not whole worms. It comes out in like ground bait, basically.
Does it?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, I didn't know that. That's news to me. Like,
you buy frozen tuberfix, you want frozen tuberfix worms, don't you? When you put the cube in, you're literally left with a bottom of just. It looks like it's been blended.
Blended.
Literally like a.
The tuberfix I buy from the shop, like, I've got them in here, the tuberfix worms, and they just look like Cali blackworms.
Yeah, well, they're not far off.
No, and they're all on the substrate. If I didn't have all these cherry shrimp in here, I'd throw some of your rainbows in and fatten them up, or
You,
maybe
you
the
can
angels.
actually set up a
Yeah.
tank for a lot, put about 1 inch of sand in, throw a load of tuberfix in there. Once a week, add an algae wafer and the tuberfix breed in the sand. And then all you do is get your net, go scoop through, so all the sand throws, and then you've got a net full of worm.
Really? What do you do that on, mate?
Yeah.
Have you got a separate tank set up for that?
No, that I actually keep my Cali black worm and my tuberfix worms in a shrimp soil. They've bred like crazy, so I've left them. So all
Yeah,
I do is scoop up,
Can you
and
show us,
the
Rob?
fish are like, here's that.
Can you show us?
Yeah, if they're out, they'll 1 second. If they're out, but they're in this tank. They're actually all in the soil. It looks like there's none in there, but if I put an algae wafer in here, tons
Yeah.
of them will come up. Oh, that'll be full. All this is full, usually full. And in this one, there's actually Cali blackworms as well. But if I put shrimp food in there, they'll all start coming out. All I do is then take it out, put the soil back, and then take the worms.
Oh, and that's just aquarium sort of like aqua soil.
Yeah, it's just a shrimp aqua soil, yeah.
Wow, look at them. The albino biscardi, aren't they?
Yeah, these are the albinos, yeah.
I love the
It's,
behaviours on them.
it's,
The
yeah.
biscardi. They're the gold ocelots, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Have you seen any babies in there, mate?
The female's actually in there. There's
Well, there's
new
some-
eggs in there.
Wow. So they bury themselves, do they, when they
Literally
go
that
out?
time. Yeah. Yeah, they bury them to preserve them. And each shell
There's
becomes a
Dave
new
from
shell after
Horizon.
the old shell.
Evening, Dave. You
Hi,
okay,
Dave.
mate?
Hope you well.
Keep meaning to get in touch with Dave because I've got that
Yeah,
rainbow group.
I want him to pay a visit so I can send him home with some fish.
What's that? You want him to pay you a visit?
Yes, I can send him home with some fish.
He's. Well, look, I can't remember what he said. I'm sure he said he's got all males or mostly males. Postman, and I think 5 out of my 6 are females. So could they be doing a swap with him or sorting something
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, well, no, that's how it should be. That's what the hobby's about. Sharing
Yeah,
is caring
definitely.
and swapping. Do you know what I mean? New bloodline. Everyone's a winner. If
Yeah,
people all come together, the one winner is the hobby.
yeah. That's like all my mates. Like I've got Wabbermuster in here, and I know 2 other lads who've got the same fish, and we bought them at the auction. Paul Big Fish Lab was at in I think it was about
Yeah.
February, and like we both kept in touch. And I've been saying to him, "Listen, let me know," because we hadn't been able to sex them at the time. So it's like if anyone ends up like out with just like 4 males or females, we'll sort it out between us so we all get like breeding
Yeah,
set
so
up on
everyone
it.
gets the first spread. Yeah. That's right. I do a very similar thing with some friends my friend who takes me to Wolf Aquatics, he does the driving, but he's big
Yeah,
into fish. I give him a full rack and tanks and he's absolutely loving it. So as
yeah.
a
Well,
thank you, we said any fish shop I want to go to in the UK, as long as I give him pre-notice, he doesn't mind driving. I'm like,
no,
thank you.
and I need to start getting around the fish shops. I keep meaning to do fish shop tours, and like I haven't done none yet. But I've always had this thing where I wants to get up to like 1,000 subs. So people walk in and be like,
Yeah,
"Look, I'm on YouTube," and so when people look at
I
his
think it,
channel, they say, "Oh yeah, he hasn't got." It's not
yeah,
just his mum and his missus and his kids who subscribe to him. Just busy at the moment, but we'll stay in the all watch
bless
those.
him.
Nice one, Dave. See, Dave's a proper fish keeper in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like he's in
Yeah.
his fishery and breeding, and he's watching,
He's
making his own
researched, Keith.
feed.
He's actually researched, and he's Dave's actually done research and research and research. He's not just jumped into the hobby. Like
Well,
there's a lot of people what see a fish and they're like, "Oh, that's real beautiful. Let's buy a tank and put the fish in the same day." No,
no.
no.
So let's talk about what are your insights from breeding, Rob? with Lake Tanganyika?
For Tanganyikans, my big one would be, what I put it down to is good quality water, nice and hard, high pH, and a good diet.
Yeah.
If that fish being an adult fish, has always got access to baby brown shrimp, it's almost like something in its mind triggers saying, well, if there's enough food for me, there's enough food to let's make babies. And lo and behold, it's working.
Yeah, I've always thought live foods will get something going, won't it?
Live food and big live food and a nice big water change can trigger everything.
See, my thing is I've always done 50% water changes. Like, apart from the marine tanks, because that would cost a bleeding fortune to do 50% water changes.
Oh yeah.
250 litres to go. What would that be? That'd be like 10. That'd be like 10 kilos. That'd be about 30 quid a water change.
Yeah.
Glass box diary. Good evening, mate. So, with the breeding, like, I didn't find much complicated. You know what I mean? With the
It's
breeding.
pretty straightforward. As far as cichlids go, they are the best parents. 100%.
Yeah.
Hands down. Some of the best parent. I've never seen one prey on a baby or anything like that. It's the total opposite. It's almost like this fish and this fish breed, make babies, and then this fish comes along and it's like, oh, I'll look after the siblings too. It's almost like they become a tight knit community. But unfortunately, there's always the odd one out what gets bullied.
Gets chased. I always got that with me, Bishardi. We'd always get one at the top of the tank that had been chased. And you think, I wonder what's going on there. But I don't know whether, like, as they get sexually mature, they get chased or something. I don't know.
I think it's the minute they hit sexual maturity. That's it. It's like they become. If they're breeding, they can be very territorial and aggressive.
My shellies were like, I had a fish that big that I expected to have like 3 foot of the tank to itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, mate, you're not that big. You can't have that much territory. So they ended up coming out the tank. Well, with regards to breed, the one fish that I found I wasn't having much luck with was my Frontosa. I'd raised him from fry to like 3 years old.
Yeah.
And people were saying that's about the time you should start seeing stuff, behaviours and stuff. And the male had matured, he got his nupal hump. He darkened and like I was seeing all the signs, but never really
but nothing. Frontosa can be hit and miss.
Yeah.
Again, it's all about it's all about hitting that sweet spot. What is the sweet spot? It could be a lot of things, that sweet spot. It could be down to food. It could be down to the water's just perfect, which you have to check and test just to make sure. I mean, they do seem to do better ever since I added the crushed coral. It's like the APH triggered almost a breeding response. As combine that with the food and a good diet, obviously.
Loads of food, loads of water changes.
Yeah.
And
regular water changes.
I don't know whether I've never noticed it with Lake Tanganyika cichlids, but a lot of my fish go on like a barometric is the word, pressure. So when you get a big storm come in, and you can feel it in the air.
Yeah, they tend to go a bit.
Yeah.
Weather plays a big part in it as well. Seasonal shifts. You do get a lot more breeding when the weather's warm. It's almost like the metabolism of the Lake Tanganyikan fish becomes tripled because they become way more active. I noticed when the tanks was at 27 Celsius, there was far more busy than they are at 25 Celsius.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you keep yours at? What?
25 to 26.
Yeah, I kept mine about 24.
About 79 Fahrenheit.
But I think I took it up in the end because I thought like they seemed a bit sluggish, so I'll kick it up a bit and see what goes on. You know.
Ever since I went to Lake 25, things did start happening in tanks what wasn't happening. So again, it can be down to a number of. It's all about making them decisions and putting it all together.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you can achieve anything.
That's it, isn't it? Like I think a lot of it's like playing music, isn't it? Like where you learn an instrument and then you can apply a lot of what you learn to other things. You know, like
Yeah,
when it comes to
exactly,
breathing stuff.
exactly.
Right. So let's have a look. Tell me more about your tank setups for Lake Tanganyika and the decor you type of, that you use.
Well, what I'll do, I'll switch the camera and I'll kind of show you what I do and use and how I go about it.
Okay.
For
Good.
instance, I tend to like oleochromis rock built up areas. They tend to feel more safe and do a lot better. I did have them in open water and you'd never see them.
Yeah. They're absolutely stunning now.
Since,
Absolutely love them fish.
but whereas my Lamprolagus ocellatus gold is the total opposite, excuse the glare. That's all shells because they are a true shell dweller. So my tanks are all dependent on what species are in there. I know the Brachadi. The Brachadi are this had all rock all the way throughout, but they collapsed it all. But this was covered in lava rock.
Was it?
Yep. Then you have the Kungwensi, the Neolampalagus Kungwensi, which is like a shell dweller, but also a rock dwelling species in one. Because as much as they use shells,
I think that's what my Talmatachromis was like.
Yes,
be in and out of the
yes,
shells, but then they'd head for the rocks every now and again. And the
that's
male
right.
never
Yeah,
went anywhere near the shells, but the females would go near the
and then
shells.
I'll have to take my tripod off to do this. Then I've got down here. This is the Lamprolagus onotopinus. It's classed as a shell dweller, but being that size, you try that fish getting in a shell. What the shells are designed for? All these are male. If there was females, the female would be only inch and a half in size, so the female would use the shells. The males use the rocks.
Same with my Telemats.
And then I've got my Julidichromis kiplii, which just in a basic generic 25-litre tank for the time being, and as you can see, they've made loads of babies.
That's in a 25-litre tank. That's insane.
Yeah. Again,
Similar
25-litre tank. There you have Brachadi, normal Brachadi look.
They're gorgeous, them.
You can have them, Keith, if you want, and male and female as well.
I'm coming up on a train to get them.
Well, you can take these, and you can probably take the babies as well, because I don't want the normals.
Don't you?
You can,
I prefer them.
I'll put. There's an albino, but yeah, all the fry here are all normal. You can see the blue glint in their eye.
Wow.
Yeah, they're from.
Oh wow! Look at them. I haven't seen them for years. They get the layer tail on them, don't they, as they get older?
Yeah. Hence the name Fairy Cichlid. They're stunning when they're in full. And they, again, 25-litre tank.
The camera can't pick. Is that a 25-litre tank?
Yeah.
Wow. I kept them in 100
25
litre.
litres.
I kept mine in 100 litre.
The only reason it happened, the only reason they're in there is because there was in this tank, and these took over and bullied everything. And you'd never see the normal Brachadi, and I had the Julidichromis kiplii in here as well, and they got bullied to high heaven. So I took them out. Literally, yeah. 1 second. Yeah, they got terrorized. But yeah, that's about it.
I had the Biscardi. I had thanks for Shane. Good evening, Shane. I don't know why I was shouting when people come on. I can just use the same thought.
It's habit. I do it still now. You tend to go close like that.
Yeah, there he is. So we talked about the setup and decor. I'll chip in it. I had the tank I'm setting up now. I had a big rock structure that was about 2/3 the height of the tank, and it was like a big like pyramid. I couldn't even
Yeah.
say that. But like a big pyramid, and I had all holes in the capes, and he used dead marine live rock. And what I found was the Bashadi went in there, and
Yep.
the loopy I had were underneath. He lived
Yep.
kind of,
Little pie fairies are mid. Your Brashadi and mid. Sometimes go to the bottom, but only for food.
yeah,
Whereas others are more mid to top, like your Cyclochromis.
yeah. Superchromis leptostoma, the
Yeah. Nice fish.
lemon head means, doesn't it? Leptostoma. But like I was saying, I had that on one side of the tank. The other half of the tank, this tank's on Instagram, by the way. It was like full of bulb. And then I had another rock structure about 1/3 height with a load of shells around it. And that's where my telemats live, my telematachromis. And I had a swimming area above it, and I wanted to get leptosoma to go in that open water, the sardine
Yeah.
cichlids.
Yeah. Look nice.
And then I seen frontosums like I'm having them.
When I first saw the Black Widow Fontosa, I was like, I want them.
It's Glenn.
Glenn dropped off. He fell asleep in the bath, I bet. Now he's all wrinkly.
Right, so I'm gonna make Glenn a moderator. So I've got someone in case anything goes on in the chat.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because I thought if I make Glenn a moderator, then I've already spoken to him about it, haven't I? So,
Mm.
but I see people adding them, like adding moderators in the chat, and I think like some people have added me, and I was like, whoa, hang on.
Oh, well, give me the wrench. Thank you.
I I find it a lot of responsibility on some people's channels. You know what I mean? Like managing the chat.
Yeah.
Lay down in the bath, deadly. Well, my baths, I've got tanks bigger than my bath, so I'm all right. My bath's like
Man's tiny. So I've got a tiny. You couldn't fight. I'm 6 foot tall, so me to lay down in my bath or fall down in my bath would be impossible.
my bath's that small. If I want to lie down, my legs are up the wall. And if it
Yeah,
shuts up,
exactly.
like just
Exactly
my
like
legs
that.
just about 50.
Same for me.
So let's talk about some of the unique behaviours, social habits you see from Lake Tanganyika.
With Tanganyikan fish, each species has its own individual uniqueness. I mean, you get somewhat what almost walk on the sand, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And then you get some what are just constantly still. You don't see much action. Then you get some what are just never stop. And each fish is different. Each Tanganyikan species I've got 7, and they've all got their own personalities basically.
pardon me. Yeah, definitely. Like for me, I found my telematachromis temporalis. I used to call them moody asses because they just
Yeah,
terrorised everything. And then Bashadi, I used to find they'd hang around the cave, and like obviously they're really protective of the children, aren't they? They have loads and loads of spawns.
oh yes,
And, like,
very protective.
and then you'll get the little ones, you'll get the bigger ones looking after them, and then you get the bigger ones looking after the smaller ones, and then the adults.
Yeah,
But then the adults disappear, and you're like, where have they gone? And a couple of days later, there's another big cloud of fry. I remember my fish room. I bought them, and the guy in the fish shop was like, if you go to keeping fish, you'll have these bred in about 6 months.
yeah.
Within a month, I had a cloud of fry, and I was like, yeah, bred them. And then by about 3 months' time, I was like, oh no, more fry.
Yeah,
It was just, I've never seen nothing like it. It was just like I can't explain. It's like a beehive around this rock
yeah.
of different sized fry. And then I was taking them to the fish shop, and the fish shop were like, I don't want them, mate. We can't sell them. Well, going off on a tangent. I think it's because they charge too much for some of these fish. Like, how come
Glenn's
I can walk in? Sorry.
Glenn's asked the question, do they have different locality in the lakes, i.e. shallow, up, and what? Yes, Glenn, they do. They do indeed.
Yeah, so like I've seen a lot of them like live on like near the banks, don't they, with the shells, and then you get like cliff
Yeah.
faces and stuff, and then
Drop
the fish
ends.
drops off.
Yeah.
There's a documentary type thing on Lake Tanganyika on YouTube, and it's absolutely
Yeah, I've
fascinating. It
watched
goes
it.
on for an hour. You've watched it?
Yeah, I've watched it.
See, that's when you know you're
That's
a proper Lake
where I was
Tanganyika
looking
buff.
at all the biotope and trying to. I'd actually watched that before I'd actually purchased the fish. So I kind of like almost tried to mimic what Tanganyika would look like, dependent on what fish. For instance, be
It's
it
hard,
Julia the
isn't it?
Chromis being a rock species.
It's
And it's
hard
worked
to
out well.
mimic because they have like big boulders, don't they, and stuff.
Right, I'm going to change my camera around just while I head to the toilet. You carry on, just catch up with the chat, Keith. I've got a very weak bladder.
Yeah, so this is Albino Bachadi. If anyone's got any questions, like, by the way, so I'll look at Glenn's asked, obviously, Glenn's asked there, do they have different localities in the lake, shallow, open water, etc.? So my knowledge of it is like I was saying, they have like there's like cliff edges at the sides with and it's sandy with shells, and then you get all like the shell dwellers like popping around and they kind of nick each other's shells. Like, but the females will be in the shell, and then once the male's gone, another male will shoot over and nick all the shells with all the females in, and then they'll start breeding with them females. But the Rift Valley, you've got Lake Malawi's at the top, Lake Tanganyika, and then Lake Victoria at the bottom. It's like big rift through that East Africa, isn't it? I'm not too clued up on like the lake that much, other than just doing research for my tanks. But I know there's like big cliff faces, and then there's open areas with like massive boulders. Like, I think the geography from what I was looking at is similar to what you'd expect to see in like North Wales, where it's like big rock structures, but then also there's like, because it used to be an ocean, well, part of like the Med or one of them seas around there. I don't know exactly which one it is, to be honest, but I know it used to be salt water, and over time the land's closed over and it's slowly become fresh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could actually say there's a lot of underground.
he's still there, Rob. I think he's
Very deep water drop bottoms.
well. That documentary I was watching, these massive cichlids were like swimming in, like when you were, it's like the diver was looking up a cliff face, and you could see these massive, massive cichlids that looked like groupers or something down in the deep areas. Some of he's telling me there's shrimp in them too. I think, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I'm not sure there is, to be honest.
No,
Might be
isn't
prawns.
Prawns, freshwater prawns.
Yeah,
Isn't the
I'm not
Mabu
sure.
popper from Lake Tanganyika or one of the estuaries off Lake Tanganyika? He's gone, so he can't answer me. He
What's
did,
an
Rob.
estuary?
What's that, mate?
It's like an estuary, what comes off a lake.
And that's where the Mabu puffer's from.
Yes. But I believe they've also found the Mabu puffer in Congo River before.
Really?
Mm. So in they almost interconnect, obviously.
Yeah.
There's got to be waterways off each lake, surely, for overspills and, you know. It'd be interesting to go and visit, but it's very dangerous.
I can imagine.
I'd love to scuba dive there. I'd
I
love
would.
to see some of the bigger species. What are not shy.
I've had another explosion of shrimp here. There's absolutely tons of little babies in this tank.
That's what you want.
Well, it's not really. 'Cause I wanted to clean it out a bit. Yeah, because I've got them in this tank as well. So when I like I said, I set the tank up, so I had the big cliff, like the big rock structure on one side of the tank, and then like a smaller one on the other. I
Yeah,
kind of copied off what I've seen in the lake, because you'd have like shells around
yeah,
boulders and
yeah.
stuff, wouldn't you? And then you had the cliff face, and then obviously I was talking about the Bashardi that lived like vertically in the tank. It's just fascinating. Like, what are the behaviours I don't know about? What are they doing that I don't know?
To be honest with you, Keith, every day is like a learning curve with Tanganyikans because they do something different every day. Something you tend to
Yeah,
not see or you've not been looking for, a behaviour of some sort. They literally
what's
are. Each species is its own, has its own individuality.
what's the thing like with regards to behaviour? Like my frontosa was so like they'd sit there and not do much during the day, but then feeding time or like dusk and dawn, they'd be really active up and down the tank and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And, but one thing I found is when I got them and they were small, they're probably the size of an adult Bashardi when I got them. And when I first got them, I put them in the tank, and the behaviour was like really natural. They'd swim around and they'd like pick in the sand and just explore the tank. But as they got bigger, they moved into the back corner of the tank, the furthest away they could get from
yeah,
me. And I was
yeah.
convinced I was in their territory all the time.
It's what you tend to find. My Tanganyikan tanks, what are on the bottom, the fish tend to stay near the back because I think the fact the fish tank's low, they're more shy because I'm walking back and forth. The minute they see me walk, they back off.
Yeah. One
But they've
thing,
actually made the backs of the tanks the territory.
Alfie, one thing,
And like one's actually built. It's actually the normal Brashadi has actually built up a sand. Well, 1 second. Built up a sandbank just to you.
wow. See, mine never really went anywhere near the sand, really.
This has
Mine was,
rocks.
mine was about, probably about a foot off the bottom, but obviously your tank's a lot. Mine was a 30-inch tall tank, so you also got a lot less choice. What is that rock? Is that Texas Holy Rock?
What's what?
What rock
This one.
have you got in the tank? Yeah,
I bought a load of Texas Holy Rock, and
yeah.
here we go. Here's the little. Yeah, I can't get him in.
Shrimp and crabs in Lake Tanganyika, but not Lake Malawi.
Right.
Glenn
Yeah.
said.
Oh, do
Maybe
they?
that's where they.
See, I don't claim to know when it comes to all the biotopes and what they have. I do not know the diversity of what's in them lakes.
I know. I knew there was crabs. Like I didn't know what about shrimp because I was researching the crabs for cleanup crew. I'm pretty sure they were hard to get hold of.
I wouldn't like to have a tank of Tanganyika and put crabs and shrimp in it because I don't think them crabs and shrimp would last very long.
You know,
I bet you probably tend to
I-
find in Lake Tanganyika the crabs and shrimp are real low down or in the shallows where fish are not.
probably yeah, in like silt or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But as I was saying before, there's a massive deep
Look at
silt
that.
bed. What's that?
I got bit. Look how it's gone.
It's gone right round your arm. You know,
Yeah, I know it is.
is it hot? Does it feel hot to the
Um,
touch?
if I drop off, call 999.
Right. Well, I'm on my phone, so someone else is gonna have the phone. I think I watched something with Crystal Coop finding them in the shallows.
I'm not sure he's done Tanganyika. I don't know if he's done it. I'm not sure. I think very little documentary exists about Lake Tanganyika for the simple fact it's very hard to go there and film.
Yeah.
Because of all the local tribes going at wars, countries versus countries. It's not the safest place.
No, I done a lot of research on Burundi, where my front rows were from,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look like a. Because I was like, wouldn't it be great to go and collect some from the wild, some fry, and bring them home and raise them?
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, it's not going to happen, is it really?
Not unless you want to lose an arm and a leg to a warlord.
Not for Burundi. Maybe for a project. Maybe
Yeah.
if we were talking in Pin We Blue, then I'd have a think about it, but not
Yeah.
Burundi, because it's on the job. So,
Yeah.
so what are your favourite Lake Tanganyika cichlids?
Probably my Julie Dechromis species and the Ocellatus gold.
So you got a rock dweller
And
and
the
a
shell
shell
dweller.
dweller.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're going to say Leptosoma, sardine cichlids, open water.
If I had to, yes, it would be the sardines.
It's amazing how, like, we haven't even touched on Tropheus.
No, I know.
Like, and even Tropheus, like, people like this, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. But you can literally just keep trophies because if you put anything else with them, they'll cause havoc.
Yeah, I was just reading Glenn's comment there saying mosquitoes inject an anticoagulant and your body produces histamine.
Well, my body's producing lots of it right now because that's not. I've got bites.
God
Look,
damn. Sure they were mosquitoes?
yeah,
You might have
100%.
been got
Because
bigger.
behind the on the ground floor behind my bedroom window, there's 3 blue bins and they're full with duckweed and water. And if I put a net in, there's thousands of mozzie larvae. So I need to put bleach in it and watch them die.
Or get some guppies.
Some, yeah. But I need them gone
That'd be
because
something.
I've never had it happen, and it's only happened since I've had them water tubs outside.
Yeah. My granddad used to have water tubs outside in the back, and they were just full of mozzie larvae.
Yep.
That was the scouts in me coming out, wasn't it? Then larvae.
Larvae.
I think my favourite Lake Tanganyika fish is definitely the Pontosa.
Yeah.
But like I like the look of the ocelots. You've got the shell dwellers. I'd
Very
like to
unique.
try I'd like to try the multi-artists for the behaviours.
Multis are like Brashadi, prolific,
Yeah,
but at the same time they're a good fish to start with to see if your tank's up to scratch and your water's well. Like them fish can tell you a lot. For instance.
definitely. Especially like obviously behaviours and stuff. They tell you straight away, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
You can spot
They're,
it
they're,
with a fish.
they're a fish. What at when your water say your water is off, they will let you know because they'll become very lethargic.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about my temperatures were low, and like a lot of the fish, especially Frontosa, it just slows right down,
Yeah.
and like you get flashes out of them, and that's when I thought I'll bump the temperatures up. Do you know what I mean? They kind of perked up a bit then, but you could tell something was off straight away.
Yeah, yeah.
Rashadi just like mine behaved exactly the same way yours.
Yeah, I told you it was not Sulawesi. It was Sulawesi, not Tanganyika.
Are these places like local to each other?
Sulawesi is in Indonesia.
So it's not close then, really, is it?
Nowhere near. But Sulawesi is very much like the water of Lake Tanganyika in Malawi, very hard. That's Sulawesi is where all your rabbit snails come from.
That's very volcanic region there, isn't it? So it's a lot of
Volcanic
basalts
rich.
and stuff.
Yeah.
That's where people start collecting rainbows, isn't it? Down at the bottom end of Indonesia,
Indonesia, Papua New Guinea,
Papua New Guinea, yeah, and then
Indo-Pacific, they're even from there now. Australasia.
it's mad how broad some of these. I was just about to say it's mad how broad.
Biodiversity, innit? I mean, at the end of the day, fish can travel, they will travel. If fish can, fish. A lot of species of fish are a lot more versatile than people think.
Yeah, that's the thing.
For-
Like that brings up like a fantastic point up for me that I always think about. It's say me and you were keeping a fish, and I said, well, I'm keeping it at 26, and I'm keeping it at this pH, and I'm keeping it at this pH, and then you come along and say, well, I'm doing it at this. I can't say you're wrong because of the diversity in the fish. The fish might be perfectly fine at both of them, but someone's going to tell one of us that we're wrong because someone else on the internet told them to do this.
This is the thing with the internet, you can never truly always be right.
No.
You can't really overly have an opinion, because if you have an opinion, someone pops up and they're like, no. And then the fish police come out, and then before you know it, you've got your hands behind your back and you're going to fish jail.
Fish jail. Keeping saltwater tanks and anything less than an 8-footer. The fish police used to. It was the fish CID then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The big boys used to come out with the tanks. God, I remember that when I had saltwater tanks. I'm going to turn this light on, mate, because the all the tank lights are dimming down. So on my high vis. So how do you go about setting up your tanks then, mate?
I did numerous research, as much as I could. I looked at what tanks tend to do best. I looked at, for instance, my tanks are shallow tanks. So I was like, what could I put in there? And then it came up with various shellies. And it was like the tanks was made for shellies. It was almost like a perfect match.
If I could give anyone advice in the hobby, it'd be try a tank of shell dwellers. See what it does for you.
Yeah,
because
if you can do shell dwellers, you could probably do most fish.
I totally agree with Glenn there. Glenn's saying you can always have an opinion if it's based on your own personal experience.
That is very true.
You can't argue with that logic.
No, that's righteous right there.
Yeah, like if I'm going to keep a fish, I'll read all the basic information on it, and then with the likes of obviously with the Carabiner, I'll peck your head and I'll peck Glenn's head, and
we're as good as any book. There is no shrimp books.
No, but what I'm saying is I want first-hand experience of someone. I want people who've had first-hand experience to say, well, this is what I've tried, this is what I've done, this is what works for me. Or they'll say, well, so-and-so said this. So, the source. So it's like, I don't know, say like a YouTube channel, then I can go and catch their content. Evening, Cabby.
Yeah. Hello.
Because sometimes context is important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, like I've seen, say Corey from Aquarium Co-op say, well, I'm saying this. That's my favourite one. Oh, all we had. I seen Adam today. I've just started one of them tuk-tuks, or whatever the cool kids call them. So I started one of them today because Big Fish Lad told me to check it out. And so I've been stalking Adam all day. There's Cabby as well. Cabby, I've said hello to Cabby, haven't I? So where were we, Glenn? Glenn, Rob. I'm reading Glenn's comments. Steve, Steve,
Um,
where are we up to?
I can't remember where it was.
We were talking about Lake Tanganyika. I can remember that.
It was regarding how I went about setting up.
The tanks. Oh yeah.
Yeah, basically, I did numerous research and I looked what species of fish would be best in my lowboy tanks, and it came up with shell dwellers. So I went with shellies.
Definitely a fish. I'd always recommend to anyone.
And then when I went into Wharf Aquatics, it was just the room. It was like a wall behind me. It was just full of specifically Tanganyikan, and then on the other wall was all your Malawi. Then in between was the Trophius. Then at the other side was the Orcalvus, and so it's immense. So many flavors of fish.
That's the so many flavors. Like I say,
So you got to look at it.
trophies. It's a hobby within a hobby within a hobby because it's part of Lake Tanganyika, but people just keep trophies. I remember
Yeah.
Joey, one of his first videos when he was setting up the automatic water change system in his.
I remember, yeah.
He had trophies like Kohler at the back, didn't he? The yellow ones.
Did.
And then when he set up the gallery for the first time, the first tank, the top when you walked in the room, were they Ember or Bember? I can't remember the name. But they're like the orange, aren't they?
The name's in the tip of my tongue.
And it's like Bember or Pember.
Pemba.
Is it? Because I keep
Pemba.
thinking,
Yes. Pemba.
can't remember.
Yeah, I'm
Can't
sure
remember.
it is.
But and there's so like I went and looked at trophies, and there's so many different types.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one, Ad. I've been I was talking to Paul about it the other day as well, to be honest, because we definitely need to do something in the northwest.
Yeah, I don't think the Northwest has much going on. Well, apart from all the quality shops, which is a shame. They all need to come together.
Definitely, and
Northwest, where it's at.
we got it is that's where it's at, the northwest. Like we've got some of the best shops. We've got
Yeah.
loads of up and coming YouTubers, haven't we? And then Paul's the boss of the northwest. That's why he calls his own northwest.
Paul is Mr. Northwest.
I'll give him that title all day happily. See what does that mean? That Rob? Does that mean he's bad?
What's that? Be right back.
BRB.
Be right back.
I'm not down with all these. LOL used to mean lots of loving, aren't they? Didn't it?
I'm only with it, Keith, because my kids use a lot of these shortened down, so I'm down with it.
Yeah. What? Good evening,
Hello,
John. What would be your recommended setup then for certain types of tank?
A good sized tank, not necessarily huge,
Say this.
but with
Say this.
with plenty
200 litres.
plenty of floor space. You see, but with a tall tank, you could do the whole build the rocks up at the back, the full back, just rocks, gaps all in between. That's personally what I'd go for. If I had the tall tank, I would literally silicone all the rocks so the gap fall. I would do a full, almost like a drop off, like you've got a drop off.
Like a cliff face.
Yeah, I think that would look. I think it would look amazing.
Do like 15 years ago with the reef tanks.
Yep. Yep.
Rock right across the back.
Yep.
That's what you do with that.
Yep.
How would you stock it?
Because you've got a little bit more depth, I'd go with something mid swimming, like a Cyclochromis, some form of sardine. I mean, if you go to Wharf has got about 10 different flavours. I didn't know there was 10 different flavours of sardine Cyclochromis, but some of them was like some of these Cyclochromis had the stripes like the Frontosa, and there was wow. I don't know which species it was, but I've never personally seen them before. But you could go with something like that for your mid swimming. Then you could go with an Lamprolagus ocellata species for the bottom.
Oh, like even
As long as you had like some rocks in front, so they could visually not see each other often, they would actually coexist pretty well.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned is not to put anything. This is what I got told: not to put anything on the ends of the tank.
Yeah, don't do
With
that.
so like because what I was, and he said this with like a lot of cichlids that the guy in my local fish shop was telling me, because cichlids will overshoot, and like you put the
Yeah,
cover.
yeah.
So if you've got something up against the tank, like with discus or frontosa or any cichlids like angels, they'll shoot for the cover and they'll overshoot it and hit the glass. So it's said to give it like,
I mean, on the night, sometimes when all the lights are out, you can actually hear this. I mean, in the tank or in the lid. It's also common with because they don't just shoot off; they really shoot off, and they don't stop.
yeah. I think that is that a typical cichlid behaviour. Do you reckon?
I think so. I think so. Yes.
But discus do it, don't they, all day?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Angels will do it.
Angels do it. Most cichlids. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've noticed with rainbows, they don't do it as much. They'll kind of like figure of eight round the tank quickly. Do you know what I mean? So it's like
Rainbows know the fast route without it becoming awkward. Rainbows know to when it comes to that end, they'll turn round.
yeah, like I've noticed that with all three different types of rainbows, they kind of figure of eight round
Yeah,
things in my
yeah.
tank.
Rainbows in general are really good. Are really good for not doing the old bumping into glass thing. Rainbows
No,
tend to
but
know the way around the tank pretty fast.
yeah, my goldfish never used to do it either. But cichlids, I've had I've had discus and I've had frontosa spook in the night and jump,
Yeah.
and they gone through plate glasses.
You see, there's another card. My Congo Tetras, if they have if I do have the lid on the tank, they also do the same as well.
Do they? Yeah.
Yeah, tap on the lid to let you know that they need feeding. They're actually coming up to the surface. Show you, they're actually coming up to the surface. If I change this, watch. The minute I go near the tank, they're all up. Literally, the minute you've got food, they're all there. Congos are my favourite fish.
Out of all of your fish, the Congo's your
Yeah.
favourite.
Yeah, they're just, when it comes to fish behaviour, they're always on the go. And if you want a fish in a tank, you want to see swim, then definitely Congos are the way to go, because they're just back and forth and back and forth, and it makes nice viewing.
Yeah, I like the my favourite set is the rummy nose. Like I love the rummy nose.
Ruminos, yeah.
I've never kept them,
I've kept ruminos. They're just
Ironically,
they're a very generic fish, but in a nice show, they can make any tank. Wharf Aquatics has a showpiece tank, and that's got a shoal of about 50 ruminos in it, fully grown, and it's if you ever go, you'll see.
how do you get that behaviour out of them? Is there any specific thing that'll trigger the? I've
Um,
never researched it, but
maybe I think it's all down to getting too used to being fed.
the thing,
Yeah.
because you see them, don't you? Like you see some people set up scapes and you just get like neon tetras, just a
Yeah.
massive school of them just
I think
spinning.
it's all down to where you feed the tank as well, because I've noticed with my Congo tetras, where I tend to drop food in, they always are. Even if I'm not dropping food in, they'll always be in that area. The
Really?
the Neolamprolagus, these are all, the minute I put my hand up, they all come up.
Is there any more fish in Lake Tanganyika that fit into the bracket at Bacardi?
Morai.
more. I've never.
They're like black with white spots, but they only stay that when they're small, and when they get bigger, they actually change to stripes as opposed to black with white dots. The
Really,
transition
yeah,
is
I'll have to check
amazing.
that out.
They've got some in they've got some in Wharf Aquatics, and when I saw them, if I wouldn't have bought what I already purchased, I would have bought them. They were stunning.
That's amazing. Because there's the Pulcher. I wanted to try the Pulcher.
They're proper bulldog fish.
Gabby's saying I keep rummy nose, red eye, and cardinal tetras with my discus.
Yeah, a lot of people do because they make good giver fish to make discus feel a little bit more at home.
Yeah,
I think when people think high temperatures, they're like, oh no, but at the end of the day, these fish go in temperatures in excess of 100 degrees Celsius, not 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So
hang on a minute, let me just math that. Couldn't remember what 100 degrees was.
About 30, 32.
Is it?
33.
Yeah. That's what I think with Lake Tanganyika and obviously like the discus are from the Amazon, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Amazon has massive temperature fluctuations by comparison with Lake Tanganyika.
It's not always boiling hot either because it can have a big downpour, and that big downpour can drop that temperature by 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. That's why I like to do a cool water change with mixed RO water with my corridors. Because when I do tend to do it, it's almost like it mimics rainy season, and then like clockwork, my corridors will lay eggs. Right on cue.
Was it Dean from Dean's Fishroom who was saying something about adding like mold or tannins or something
Yeah,
to it?
mold. In putting loads of these in.
Yeah, because he was saying I can't remember what exactly he said, but it was something along the lines of, and this is me asking, not telling, by the way. If you're at it, it's just if it's the beginning of the season and you get the mold in, that stimulates breeding because do the water changes, don't they, to stimulate breeding. Except, but if the water's coming in clean, do you assume it's the end of the season?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
something along them lines he said, but obviously I'm asking him, not telling me.
Yeah.
With the temps. Discus, going on to discus, talking about discus, I absolutely love checkerboard discus. I love the checkers or the pigeon bloods and like angel boys. I love me, Manica Peru, Nane, and then there's the other ones, isn't it? What the other one's called? I'll take off the top of the 3 wild types. Sorry, Rob.
Hecali.
I can't remember.
Stendecker.
There's the 3 wild types, isn't there? Angels. I'm just trying to think.
There's one now what you can't actually get. What was a German land bred, but it's you can no longer get them. I can't remember which one it was.
Are we talking about stankers?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
When they bred for tap water or something?
Yes. Yeah, there was.
There's a friend of mine, Simon. He's bought. I don't know whether he bought the ones he showed me, but they look like wild discus, but they were tank raised, like they were.
Yeah.
Tank water.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind because what did he call them? Is it heckles or something? The wild type.
Is it Hecali? Hecali.
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't have the answer. But they are stunning. Like the reds and like goat's hair on the outside, aren't they? And I had goat's hair.
Discus is my next fish I'm getting.
Is it?
Yeah,
Heckles,
I've got my eye on some wild types.
Are you getting wild types? Are you?
Yeah, I love the wild type. I love wild type fish. I'm not
What
big
I'm
on all
thinking
the
of,
different colours and
you're not big on like I like
I
the
like
red
them.
shirts and yeah.
Yeah, I don't like. I like the pigeon bloods and all that, and the bright red ones with the yellow faces. I like them, but if I had to pick discus, it would be wild type, just because it reminds me of 1988 when my parents had discus, and that was all available back then was wild type discus. And when I
What's
first
that
saw
one
one, I
called?
just fell in love.
It's mad, isn't it? What like catches your attention and that's it.
My
Because I'm
passion
like that
stems
with
from my parents.
mine was like I was catching tadpoles with me mates and
Yeah,
then
did all that as well.
stickleback.
New tadpoles.
I kept tadpoles in like no the salad trays in the bottom of fridges.
Yeah, yeah, I remember them. Yeah,
I used to nick them when I was a kid and like get tadpoles for them. And in the end, my nan took me up to Dandy's Aquatics. I'm gonna see if I can do a fish shop tour with them soon actually. But it's me home ground. So I want to do like I want to start there with my fish shop tours and um,
yeah, definitely.
because it ties into my channel. It's like part of
Yeah,
like my whole philosophy on my channel is to show you my experience as I do it and learn off others while like doing this. You know what I mean? So it makes sense to me to do that first. It's like I would say like I would say fish shops are like footy grounds, aren't they? You always have your home turf that you always stay faithful to, kind of thing.
you do. You do.
I can big fish lad saying I can do Andes and something fishy. The great thing about something fishy is some fin fishy, isn't it? Is my missus's dad lives right behind it, so I can always use it as an excuse
Yeah.
when the family do, so I can get out and say I'm going to fish shop to record it.
I love the fish. I love to watch it. Some of my favourite footage is fish shop tours because it's almost like giving you an insight to that shop without actually visiting it. So when it comes
Yeah,
to visiting it, you've got a little bit of background of what they do, what they have available, what varieties they've got.
I'm thinking of doing them, and then on the Whittle there's a Maidenhead, there's Waterworld, there's loads right round. I think it's about
You have a
7 or
lot.
8.
You have a lot in your. You have a lot of that. Whereas me, if I was to go with the mile radius what you've got, you're probably looking at 3 shops, and that's it. And they all sell just your generic guppies, platies, mollies. Not my kind of bread and butter
Community
fish.
fish, Car Farm, that's the one. That's
If you
not
want,
far from
someone's asking, Mr. G's asking, if you owned a fish shop, what would you call it?
Mr. G. You asking me, or you're asking Rob, or you're asking us both? Because since you're the guest and I'm the pest, Rob, you can answer it first.
Ooh, what would I call it? Fish are friends, not food.
It's your friend. It's a bit of a long internet like name, isn't it?
What would you call a fish shop? Because some of the best shops already around have already got the perfect names. You want for a fish shop. You want something where, say, someone's going past in a car and see this shop and see the sign, and that name sticks in their head. They then go away, tell Tom, Dick, and Harry, "Oh, there's a new fish shop. What's open?" And guess what it's called? And it just stems from there. But what would you call a fish shop?
The best name I've ever heard. I'd call mine Aquatilis.
A
Because
cotylid.
literally, because it's literally Latin for aquatics, and
Mm.
everyone calls it like Andes Aquatics, Premier Aquatics, Pier Aquatics, no Water Aquatics. It's just they'll just call it Aquatilis, so then it's just called aquatics in Latin.
It literally
And it's
covers all aspects. Yeah.
yeah, it's just done, isn't it? It's one word, it's done. But the coolest name I seen from a fish shop was Fish No Chips in Chester.
What was
So I
that?
thought that was Fish No Chips. It was called. It was it's an amazing little shop.
There's so
There
many
was salt
little
water.
shops I'm still yet to visit.
Yeah, like there's loads on the Whittle. There's a guy. I think his name's Paul. I haven't seen him around. Paul Richards, I think his name is, and he's got a little shop. Like I'm in Birkenhead. He goes, like I work on the docks, which is in the middle, and then the
Yeah,
other side of it is another shop, like another town centre called
yeah.
Wallaby Liscard, and he's got like a little shop there, and I should really get in there and go and see him because some of my
Strike
mates,
while
like,
strike while the
they'll
irons are always.
yeah, 'cause, like some of my mates will turn up with their bags of
See,
fish, and I'm like, where did you get them from?
Paul
Paul
knows them
Richard, the
all.
fish shop. That's who it is. Like a lot of my mates have got like really nice fish off him, so
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. And I'm sure he started my local Facebook group, which is Tropical Fish Whittle. I think it's called, like, I've been on that group for years. I think there's about 5,000 members on there now, but it was only small. I could go mad on a tangent on that
Yeah.
Facebook group because I was on there. When I first joined it, there was a lad on there invited me, added me as a moderator, and I thought it was on that group, and it wasn't. It was on a different group called Freshwater Fish Keepers or something. He added me as a mod because I was sitting there answering people's questions. Like if someone was like, "What's wrong with my water parameters?"
Yeah.
or like, "Why's my fish?" Like, say, like they had like white spots, as people call it, ick. I'd sit there and write an article on it for them, and then I'd post it to the group. And like they were getting loads of likes and comments and stuff. So he made me a mod, and then we blew the channel up to about 60,000 members between. There was like four of us, but I always thought it was for months. I thought it was Paul's group on Facebook. I thought it was my local group, and it
Ah, right,
wasn't.
okay.
It was just I was like, so have I been? Because he was a member of that group, and then like obviously poached me to this other group. But I
Yeah.
honestly thought I was working on Paul's group for him for ages.
Right, mate, I'm just going to nip to the toilet again.
Okay, but that was crazy. That thinking I was working on Paul's group and it wasn't. It was someone else's. I definitely want some of these. I've never been into albino fish. They've never done nothing for me. But the shardy, I absolutely love. Like anyone wants to try Lake Tanganyika. Like if you've got a small tank, get shell dwellers. If you've got something like this, like 200 litres, 100, 200 litres, have a go with them. I know Rob's saying he's keeping a lot of his in 25 litres, but unless you've got something like this, like you'd see a lot more behaviour and stuff from them because these put out like massive schools of fry. I used to get a school of probably about 50, 100 fry every month out of them, and they look after but each generation looks after the last one, so you end up with like maybe 3, 4 generations. If I remember rightly, I think the parents chase them as they mature. But I had generation upon generation, and I had them in a 400-litre tank in a rock structure. And then this 100-litre tank, which is the first ever tank I bought with my own money, I had them in this with a saltwater light over it. And I filled like a 400-litre tank and a 100-litre tank, like, and both tanks looked like lobster there. So these are definitely a fish to try. He's got his the the crows, is it called transcripts? The Julies. I love the way they just hang around in the water, just sit like upwards in the water slightly. I assume
Julie's,
they were like
Julie's float. They're like floating torpedoes. It's like they can float in midair without even moving the fins.
it's amazing. They almost remind me of pea puffers, Rob.
Yeah,
You know, the way they can just sit
very
in a current
similar.
or something.
Sit in a current waiting for food.
Yeah, they're like little helicopters, aren't they, pea puffers?
Yeah.
Just see them bobbing around a tank and they just back up and like
I
they're
used to have
amazing to watch
people, but
people. I did.
I should really get them
Hey,
because I've
Mr.
got
T,
copious amounts of snails now. I've just had a
you've
bit
got
of a
snail.
snail. Yeah, I've had a bit of a snail cull as well. I put a bit of lettuce in this morning. Picked each piece of lettuce out and it was covered. I do it every so often. I like snails, but I like to keep them to a controlled level.
That's talking about pea poppers with snails. I used to have a tank, and I used to throw all my plants in them. When I first got them, and they had pea poppers in. So like, they'd kind of quarantine me plants because I tried. You ever tried bleach dipping your plants, Rob?
Yeah. Have I?
Yeah. You ever tried it with? I think it's like
No,
5%
no.
bleach or something.
I'll use hydrogen peroxide to dip plants or potassium permanganate. Morning's
It's
great.
Craig, Dave. Good evening or good morning. Different sides of the world. So I tried bleach dipping them. I think it was like 5% for 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And I still got snails. So that's
Potassium
when
permanganate. Potassium permanganate works good for pest snails.
was it?
Yeah,
I'll have to
but
try.
you've got to be careful with it because like meth blue stains everything. Potassium permanganate, like a pinky purple colour, it turns your water like purple. So
I
everything, all
know,
the
yeah.
silicone can go. So I would always do it not in a tank. I'd always treat it in a bucket or a tub.
If I'm honest, that's why I like black silicone tanks. If you look, a lot of the tanks I buy are black silicone, unless they're like
Yeah, I'm
standard
big on black
tanks.
silicone. I prefer me black to me clear.
Don't get me wrong,
Definitely.
I've got tanks with clear steel, but I feel like it
Evaporation.
drains your tank better. I don't know what other people's opinions. Look at them. How'd you get your red roof floaters like that, Rob?
What, like this?
Yeah, like that. What's the roots on them?
You know this light, don't you?
That is the All Pond Solutions
Correct. I just move it
algae
about and
generator.
you
The
get it
algae
like that.
generator. I've got one here. I was going to pick it up, but I'll probably drop
Bright
it.
white, bright white light, bright white light. You can't go wrong. It goes bright red.
I should be, Glenn. I don't know why I shout. I'm talking to someone in the chat.
He is, Glenn. Here goes Glenn starting to do FFL riddle, FFL joke.
FFL, put the kettle on.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It'd be cool if it was voice activated as well, wouldn't it?
But yeah, I think Lake Tanganyika and Cichlids are very underrated. They tend to go out of fashion and then come back in fashion.
I think we're ready for.
Like a lot of fish, really.
I think we're
But
ready for another boom.
what I found is because I've not got similar species, I've got all different species. It's kept me more connected and entertained to them fish. Whereas if I think I'd got all say Julie de Chromis, I'd have probably been fed up with Julie de Chromis.
I'm thinking with this 5-foot tank going and setting up a 5-foot Lake Tanganyika tank.
In a 5-foot tank, you could have. Is it how tall? Is it?
18 inches by 18 inches deep by 5
So
feet.
you've got loads of space to play with there. You could have multiples. You could have, as long as you did a good rock structures, you could have multiple species coexisting.
Yeah.
Your mid dwelling Cyclochromis, and then your bottom dwelling like your Ocellatus, your Multifasciatus, even a few Brachadi just to throw into the mix. And what they'll tend to do in a 500-litre tank, I don't think you'd ever get aggression because them fish would have ample areas to breed.
Yeah. And wow, the Amazon sword, it's still in the pot and it's exploded in growth in us. A couple of days, it's got like 4 new leaves coming out of it.
My Amazon swords never took off. They've stayed, but that's all they've done. Not
What have they
grown
planted in?
swords. You what?
What have they planted in?
It's got plant soil under capped off with sand.
They don't hurt, baby. That's the only time I've ever had luck with Amazon swords have been in dirt, apart from apparently that one's flying. And it's got 3 babies on it. But the one I've got in the living room, you know, the one I'm set up that's like my experiments data tank. The Amazon sword's been in there for. When did they set that tank up, Rob? 3 weeks ago, maybe 4.
Yeah. Yeah, nearly 4
Um,
weeks.
the Amazon sword doubled in size, and it's put out a runner
I
for
can't
babies on it.
get the height. I'm getting the growth, but it's growing out in small leaves. I'll see if I can show you what I mean.
What type
1
of
second.
sword is it, mate? Is it
It's your. Is it Blairy?
Blair? Yeah. So it's just a standard.
Yes, standard. Sorry, the fish are in the way. But as you can
Ooh,
see,
fish.
get out the fucking way. Yeah, that's as
Don't want to
much as
see
the
fish
grown up.
anymore. That's calm.
I also had some species in here. Is it rubra?
Yeah, I've got them in me. Wallstad tank.
They melted off and didn't grow back.
Did they? Mine.
No.
I'll tell you what I did with mine, Rob. This tank that's behind me, I let them sit for months in the pots. I just fertilised it, in the pots. And I let them melt in the pot and grow back because I was expecting them to
Right,
do what
okay.
they do. I do that with a lot
I
of
should have
plants.
done.
People think you
I should
can't
have
do
done that
that.
really.
But I've got boosters and the newbies that have probably been in the pot since last autumn. And I just like pop them all. And it's because one thing I learned from that's the one, Glenn. That's like the textbook Amazon sword, isn't it? The Blair. Can't pronounce. Is it Blair? It's pronounced. Um, well, like from bonsai, one thing I learned, like you say, if you're going to do a heavy pruning on your bonsai tree, don't repot it that year. Just do one
Right.
stencil per year. So if you're going to repot something, don't prune it. So the way I look at it is a melt is a prune in my book.
Yep.
So letting like transitioning
Well,
your
it is.
plants
Yeah.
to the
It is
water.
a transition.
So what I tend to do is if I can, is let them transition and then pot them a few months later once I got used to my water.
So then they're already started to produce submersed growth.
Yeah, because I think they've got to get energy from somewhere to throw
Yep.
your roots. Now, if all the leaves are melting because it's pulling all the energy in, it's just like massive imbalance, isn't it? And it's going to think, where am I putting all this energy? What am I going to do with it? So I did like it seems to have worked for me. I've lost one plant. That was a crypt plant. And actually, I've still got the pot up here. Well, looks like my angelfish is starting to breed. They're up against the pipe.
Got some live breeding action.
They always breed for me when I'm on a live. Like the eggs never survive. I need to.
They must know that that's here, so they feel secure.
So that pot I filled it half full of. This was at the cripple ante in it, and I emptied it. And I thought the bottom half's soil and the top half's pea gravel, like 3 mil pea gravel. The same pea gravel that's in all my Wallstad tanks, and that's the only. It's the only plant that didn't transition into my water, and I got them from Premier Aquatics, which is another shop I'd love to do a tour on. Steve, does everyone know Premier Aquatics? You
I'm
know,
sure.
don't you, Rob?
I know Steve. Well, I kind of know Steve, yeah.
Yeah. For me, like, I remember Steve from like Facebook years ago when
he
it was like a
when he
big.
had his breeding room, yeah.
Yeah, I'd come across it in Preston and District Society's club page, and I seen it go through him and see what he was breeding. I was like, wow, this guy's a genius at breeding. So I knew he was for years, and then he worked at like Chester Zoo and the Blue Planet Aquarium.
Blue Planet, yeah.
And then he set up Premier, and then when he set up Premier, I was like, wow, there's that guy. He's like started his own fish shop.
He's come a long way. He's come a long way in a short space.
He has. He's absolutely flying. But the thing I like about it, when you go in the shop, it's all similar stuff to what he's been breeding in the past. But I don't think it's like a lot of Tetris and stuff, do you know what I mean? But and then obviously every shop has to keep your community fish that do well, the likes of your mollies, guppies, swordtails. But you can tell it's very inspired by what he's bred in the past, you know what I mean? And the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
shop set up around that. Which I do think everyone should have a bit of individuality in the shop.
yeah. It's all about putting your experience and what you've learned to create a shop. It's all about putting it into plan and putting it across the right way. Because if you go the wrong way, your shop will just. But if you do it the right way, you get your Premier
Yeah,
Aquatics, and it's his live videos unboxing. That's what people want to see.
that's it.
You
Like
can't
he
beat a
knows
live.
what this
It's plant unboxings. I love them as well
this plants on. Yeah,
because I like to
like
see what's available, what's people's tastes like. By what he orders in, you kind of learn that.
yeah.
Plants are becoming
I
very popular.
my like I've done a lot of plant content, haven't I? And I started with like Wallstad stuff, and it kind of hit me by accident because I posted a video on it and it blew up. So I put another video out a few days later, and that blew up. And at the time, I was only getting like my videos were only probably getting about 30 to 50
Yeah,
views. And like my first Wallstad video got like 1,500 views overnight. The next morning, I got
yeah.
up and another 1,500 views. And I was like, what's going on here? So I put another video out. So I thought it must be the Wallstad. And that got another 1,500 views over a day. So to go from like 50 views to 1,500, you're like, wow,
Because it's content what people actually want to see.
yeah. But
You get a
like I
lot of
say, I
content
think
on. There's a lot of content on there. What I'll tend to go and fast forward. Not because
yeah,
I'm being an ass, but because I already know.
well, that's interesting that because I'll sub to some people, like I sub to a lot of people, and then like I feel like, and I don't think the algorithm takes into consideration that, like, say you post something, say for argument's sake, you keep shrimp and fish. So
Mm.
maybe I'm into your shrimp, but I'm not into your fish. So I'll watch your shrimp content when you put that out. For argument's
Yeah,
sake, I'm like, so I'll cherry pick which videos I want to watch. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I
yeah,
don't like the
yeah.
channel, but I feel like
It's just your taste.
yeah,
It's down to what your taste is.
that's it. Like everyone's got different taste, haven't they, mate?
Craig, people want to see the
People,
dog attack me. It won't attack you. Jump on its Craig, get on its back and ride it. Ride Phantom.
I had Craig boxes kangaroos.
Yeah, Craig once had a pet kangaroo, and the pet kangaroo wouldn't go in any room that Craig was in because it was scared of him.
They look like what you call it, don't they? They look like deers on steroids, like
Yeah, like they're
6 foot
on steroids.
deers.
The beastly things.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
it's
like.
them feet. It's them feet. Them feet. If them feet kick you, you're getting sliced.
Oh, like why is everything so hard in Australia? Like the spiders.
Tough environment, but such a beautiful country
It
because
is.
it has tropical, subtropical, and it's got all the
Has it?
climates you could want.
I did. I didn't know that.
I didn't even know it snowed in Australia till Craig was showing me some videos of snow. What's just recently happened.
That's insane. That's
I just didn't think it got snow there.
I just thought the whole of Australia was like
Was
desert and it was always like 30
flat,
degrees.
yeah,
But
brush, yeah. No, it's got
like
jungles, it's got forests, it's got the
my
brush, it's
mate
got
was
the
saying,
outback.
he went over there and he bought like a camper van and he lived over there for a few months.
Yeah,
And he said it's such a surreal experience for a Brit because like I walk out my house within 2 minutes and I'm in a shop. You know what I mean? He said, like, when he first got there, he was like, right, mate, where's the nearest shop? And they were like, it's an hour down that road.
Oh,
And he was like, nah. So honestly, it's a mile. It's like an hour that way.
yeah.
So when he ended
That's
something,
a
his
short
cameraman
journey.
drove. And the guy asked for directions like an hour ago, walked in the shop, and he was like, see, it told you.
When Craig walks around his house, when Craig walks around his house is in now, in one day he does 10,000 miles. That's how big his house is.
His house is massive. Absolutely love his house.
I
Like,
could do so much with that space.
this room is absolutely massive. See, I'm quite limited, aren't I? Like, what I'm thinking of doing is like lowering the number of tanks or higher the standard of each tank.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the route to go down because you put a little bit more into the less than the more.
We've also that tank, the dirted planted tank, like that's a stayer with rainbows.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of maybe doing a 5 foot Lake Tanganyika tank. Craig never stops. He makes me feel lazy.
Craig is a grafter.
Is he? I love
Yeah.
that attitude in people.
I've never seen someone clean glasses the way he does. Gets his shirt and just wipes the glass like that. And his
That
tanks
was a
look pristine.
that was a beautiful view, that Rob. Like,
Right, is there any more questions, Keith?
we've gone through the 10 I had. Like,
Right, okay.
have you got anything you want to ask me?
No, I
You
think
can?
we've covered. No, we've covered pretty much everything and more.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to throw some questions at you, didn't I? And
Yeah,
I wanted to do like a fish room tour, and we've done that,
yeah,
haven't we?
yeah.
So if there's any questions from the chat, what was that? Is that what fly
That
getting terminated?
mosquito
Guys, come
killer.
prepared. Yeah. So if there's any questions from the chat,
Yeah, fire away with questions, guys.
I want to know if people want to see me set up a Lake Tanganyika tank, like a display style
Yeah,
one.
who wants to see Keith do a Lake Tanganyika and come and pay me a visit and take some Tanganyikan fish on to put in his tank?
I could do a fish room tour, couldn't I?
You could do. Just pre-warn me so I can have a little over and a polish.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely arrange it. I'll come up, do a cracking little tour. When am I getting the train to Rob's? I don't know
When
yet.
you come in, Paul, you can all come. Take some fishies home. I have
Yeah.
lots of fishies. I can send you one, Paul. I can send you one with if you want to do a Tanganyikan tank. I can send you one with some nice cichlids as well. I'm willing to help anyone out. It's what it's
You're an
about for me,
absolute gent,
Keith.
man. See, that's the thing. Like, I've got like all these cherry shrimp, and I can't give them away. I know my fish shop will take them off me.
You will slowly with time. You'll build connections. You'll. It's like when you finally get introduced to Daniel, who
Yeah.
Glenn's latest video. Daniel, when I became friends with Daniel, it opened so many more doors for sales because if he didn't have the shrimp, he'd send them straight to me. I can sell shrimp without advertising, and you'll get to that point eventually too.
Yeah. I'm just reading the
Here's a
thoughts.
question.
Do you think the
Go on.
lack of carbon available for plants are a common problem in a Wallstat or a low tech tank? It's always the limiting factor, carbon.
Right.
That's what I always promote. Like, I try and promote plants that will use the carbon in your K8 and stuff like that. Like Diana Wallstat talks about, like the likes of LLD denser. Wow, it's reported to like it'll absorb the carbon out of your KH.
Yeah, they
Craig's
do,
right.
Craig. It does
See
happen.
that?
Unfortunately, it does happen. Sometimes you've got to read the message and then move on.
Yeah,
You
I
get a lot
think
of time. You do. Unfortunately, you get a lot of time wasters. The minute you say, yeah, I've got shrimp for sale, what shrimp? Carradina. Oh yeah, I'm looking for carradina. How much? £5 a shrimp. You don't hear nothing else. I'm like, what's £5?
I know. I when I was selling all my fish, like my front toes, I put them up and I listed them around 10 people message me about they all asked me how much I wanted for them. I told them and probably 2 people were like, okay, can I come and see them out of maybe 10 people.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a lot of
And
that. That's unfortunately it comes when you're wanting to sell stuff, it comes with it. But mud
yeah,
sticks, but you do learn, you almost learn if a person messages you by their message, you know straight away by what they're asking. They're there to try and get a bang for the buck, and they don't even know about the
Craig,
fish. So I swipe across and move on.
Craig's saying exactly the same thing in the chat. I've had it like when you used to be able to sell on Facebook, I'd get messages and you just like, I can't stand people who've got their hands in your pockets as soon as you start talking to them.
Yeah,
They're like, that's the
usually
worst thing for me.
a telltale sign that they're going to put a guy did it to me when I had all my snow white plecos. He came here wanting to buy a fish for
Yeah,
£5 for one fish. I thought I'll do him two for a tenner. He came, he put me on the spot. He put his hand in his pocket, stood there like that. I knew exactly. Pulled the money out. He had £15. He said, "Would you do 10 for £10?" I thought, "You're not even going to offer me that extra fiver." But me being me, I sold him. But he come back for some more, and I said, "No."
no,
I said, "Bye."
no chance.
Yeah,
No. Well,
because
that's the, like,
4 weeks later, after he bought these plecos, they was up for sale, and he was classing them as sub-adult juveniles, tripling the
I'm
price.
telling them. See, I've seen people breeding, like the likes of angels, and they'll grow them out, and then they'll put 2 in the tank, and they'll be like, proven breeding pair for sale, 150 quid. And you just growing them out and put 2 of them in the tank. They're just about mature, and you're selling them for like
Yeah.
top dollars a breeding pair. That makes me, people like that make me a bit.
You've also got to add to the fact it costs you X, Y, and Z in electric, upkeep, and food to keep them fish. And people come and they say, when you say you price, yeah, £3 a fish, oh, oh. I'm like, go to a shop then and buy one for 24.95, but you won't get one cheaper, and it'll only be that big, not that big.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, Rob, like I'd rather do that. I'd rather send them to the shop because you know the shop are buying off, don't you? It's usually me. I take all my fish to the shop,
Yeah,
so the shop will usually give me more than like people expect to pay
it's
as a
like
private breeder.
it's like Craig just said there. I'd rather give fish to
Wow.
friends than go get lowballed. That's 100% no true words. That's it. That's me. That's why I think I give fish away because I know I'm going to get lowballed, and
Yeah,
it's not all about. I put a lot of time and effort into my tanks.
it's like when Mal was setting up his shrimp tanks, and I was like, "You send me 10 of your shrimp, I'll send you 10 of mine."
Yeah,
Like he wants shrimp.
that's. Oh, went off then. Oh, what's happened? I can hear myself.
I don't know what's going on.
It's done what it's done. It did this last time, Keith.
Did it?
I can hear you now. I can hear me, but I can't hear you. One second.
I wonder what's going on there then. Does anyone know what's happened? It's still there. Can't hear me, can you? What's going on there for him?
Don't know what's happened. It's gone all wrong again, Keith. So unless you want to stop it and restart it, it's up to you.
What I'll do is I'll leave it there, guys, because it's been about 2 hours now, hasn't it?
Yeah, okay then.
Yeah.
Right to you, Keith.
All right, mate.
Right, guys, I shall speak to you all soon.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.